Hello and welcome back to the Karma Stories podcast. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today I have a single story for you from the YouKaren subreddit. And I need you at the end of the story to jump onto YouTube and tell me in the comments whether you think they were a Karen or not. The Karma Stories podcast is published to all major podcasting platforms, and you can also read along on YouTube under our @Karma Stories podcast handle. Alright, on to this epic story. Let's jump right in. This story comes to us from ASL Everyday. My stepdad is a true Karen. My stepdad posted this on Facebook 4 years ago, and he reposts it every year to try and help anyone going through the same thing. This is a long post, but pretty worth the read, especially June 21st in my opinion, which wasn't true. Here's Dad's post. It says, I know this is ridiculously long, but wanted to share the email that I ended up sending to the CEO of American Home Shield after being without a freezer for 21 days. What isn't in the email is that after more than 1 month of being without a freezer, they agreed to pay for a new one. Good end result, but way too late, and much too little effort on the part of the normal customer service department. If you have AHS or are considering them as your home warranty company, feel free to contact me and I'll be glad to give you the name of a company who understands customer service. Email to the CEO of American Home Shield. Introduction deleted as it contained private contact information. Tuesday, June 2nd. We called your company to report that the freezer section of our refrigerator freezer was not working. An appliance company was scheduled to repair the appliance in our home on June 5th. I am told your committed response time is 24 to 48 hours. Friday, June 5th. Appliance repair tech arrives on time, replaces the thermostat in the freezer, and says that the freezer will be freezing by that evening. But that when he connected the thermostat, the fan in the refrigerator stopped working. He said he would order the part and set up another appointment to put in the new fan. I checked the freezer that evening and it wasn't running at all. Since my wife had been told that the freezer would be working, she had not removed anything. So everything in the freezer was thawed and inedible. We had to throw it all out. I called your company and they issued a recall to the service company, but no one responded. Sunday, June 7th. I called your company to ask what was happening on the recall. I was told that the appliance company was closed on Sundays, so the earliest your folks could get an answer would be Monday morning. I was assured that I would receive a phone call with the update. Monday, June 8th. After working all day and not receiving a call, I called from home in the evening. I was told that the appliance company would not come back out until the part, the fan, was received. I explained that the ordered part had nothing to do with the freezer, but I could not get your customer service representative to understand. I was assured I would receive a call the following day. Tuesday, June 9th. After working all day and not receiving a call, I called from home in the evening. I was told that the appliance company was waiting for the part to come in. I explained, again, that the part on order was for the refrigerator, which was working perfectly, and that the freezer, which the appliance tech had said was fixed, was never fixed. I was assured that I would receive a call the following day. Wednesday, June 10th. After working all day and not receiving a call, I called from home in the evening. I was told the appliance company was waiting for the part to come in. I explained for the third time that the part on order was for the refrigerator, which was working perfectly, and that the freezer, which the appliance tech had said was fixed, was never fixed. The CSR told me that the part was expected to be delivered the following day, and that the appliance company would contact me when it was received to schedule an appointment. Thursday, June 11th. I received a call from the appliance company stating that they would be at my home on Saturday to repair the refrigerator. Unhappy, but unable to get anyone to listen to me, I agreed to the appointment. Saturday, June 13th. A supervisor from the appliance company arrived at my home. He took the interior drawers out of the freezer, looked in, then stood with his head down in silence. He looked up at me and apologized, but stated that the seal system is the problem, and since he was not an authorized Samsung technician, he could not repair my freezer. He checked the refrigerator and agreed with me that there was nothing wrong with it, and that the fan was not needed. He assured me that he would get back to his office around 3 p.m. and would call in the report to AHS at that time. At 4 p.m., having not received a call, I called AHS and was told that the tech had not called in the result of his call. Angrily, I requested that the CSR call the appliance company. When the CSR came back, she stated that the appliance company was already closed, but that they would be contacted Monday morning for the details. I explained that he said that an authorized Samsung tech would be required, but she said that AHS had to hear that directly from the tech. Approaching explosion, I demanded that I be called on Monday morning with an appointment for a tech to be at my house on Monday or Tuesday at the latest. Monday, June 15th, I received a call from AHS stating that the tech had reported the details of his appointment and that the Samsung tech would be scheduled to come out on Wednesday. Memory is fogged up at this point, so it may have been for Thursday. I was more than mildly unhappy. I had been without a refrigerator for 13 days at this point, and no one was showing any sense of concern or urgency. Wednesday, June 17th, I received a call from an appliance technician. When I began to explain the situation, he told me that he was sorry, but he was a dishwasher technician, and he was not Samsung authorized. For clarity, the original service request included our dishwasher, but we found the problem and resolved it before the very first technician set up his appointment. Liftoff reached. I didn't attack this guy because it was not his fault. The CSR, who I called at your company, was not lucky. She assured me that she would locate a Samsung authorized tech and would have them out as soon as possible. Friday, June 19th, the technician arrived on time and spent a total of roughly 20 minutes in my home. He examined the freezer, determined the parts that would need to be ordered to properly repair the freezer, and told me that, once the parts were in, he would be back to install them to complete the repair. Me, mistakenly believing that I was living in the 21st century, rationalized that the parts would probably be in on Tuesday, and I would finally have my freezer back. Reluctantly, and without an option, I accepted his explanation. Sunday, June 21st. Did you know that this was Father's Day? We have a family tradition of grilling and smoking meat for most of that day, but since we didn't have a freezer, we made the decision to disappoint my children. Monday, June 22nd. I contacted AHS to get an update on the parts order. I was told by the CSR that she needed to check on it and asked if she could place me on hold. I was on hold for roughly 10 minutes, and your phone system directed me back to the original voice routing system. I angrily hung up, then immediately called back. The unfortunate CSR who answered this call caught the full force of my anger and frustration at this point, as she repeatedly told me that they were waiting for authorization to order the parts. I told her that I was authorizing the order, and that I expected them to be rushed. She told me that the one and only process required 5 to 7 business days, and that there was no way for her to designate anything as a priority. She then forwarded me to the escalation department. The gentleman that I spoke to entered the parts request, then called the purchasing department to ensure they got the parts ordered. He also stated that there was no way to improve upon the 5 to 7 business days. I explained to him that I had worked in transportation for 30 years, and that there was not a place in the world that I couldn't have gotten freight in less than 5 to 7 days. I also told him that when I ran delivery services for appliance retailers, we recognized that refrigerators and freezers had to be treated as emergencies when the appliance in the home was not functioning. I asked why he couldn't indicate that the parts should be air freighted, and he said he would put in that request, but had no control over the mode of transportation used. Tuesday, June 23rd. I called and was told that the AHS process required 5 to 7 business days, and that the ETA on the parts was Monday, June 29th, and that the tech appointment would be on Tuesday, June 30th. At this point, I will admit that I lost it. I asked why the parts were not being aired in, and she said she had no way of knowing. I asked that she transfer me to the escalation department, since a member of that team is the one who had supposedly requested air freight. She told me that she did not have the ability to transfer me to the escalation department. I asked how that could be, since the CSR on the previous day had done so. She stated that she did not know, but she couldn't. I asked if I had been lied to the previous day, because obviously if one CSR can transfer a caller, the other should be able to as well. She said she was not saying anyone had been lied to, but I told her that if the CSRs are unable to transfer, then the person from the previous day must have asked the CSR next to her to pretend he was with the escalation team. She said that she had asked her supervisor, who was on a call, to call me when they got off the call. I told her that this would be the third supervisor who had said that they would call me and hadn't, because I knew I wouldn't get a return call. It's now 8:04 p.m. and my phone has not rang. Call me shocked or prophetic, your choice. She also said that we were at a point in the process where AHS could offer me a cash-out payment. I asked how long that process would take, and she said it would be reviewed by the proper department, and they would have an offer within 24 to 48 hours. I then asked if, once I received an offer, they would mail me a check, and she said that would occur. So by Thursday, June 25th, I would receive an offer, then a check would be printed and mailed, meaning that I would receive the check on or about the same date that the appointment is currently set, and would have to locate my own technician to perform the work, who probably wouldn't have the parts in stock either, so the time spent without a freezer would be even longer. I have been in customer service positions for most of my 40-year career, whether that was in transportation, where my clients were buyers and ultimately retail customers, or in delivery, where my customers were retail customers as well as the retailers we serviced. I have always believed that it wasn't how a person or company handles the day-to-day, by-the-book items which show the mettle of a person or company, but how they handle the items which don't go as expected. In this area, your company has failed miserably. You have a process which is the same for every customer, and your employees are not allowed to deviate in any way from that process. Your supervisors do not call angry customers, even when they commit to do so. Did I mention, by the way, that almost every call has begun with me being on hold for an operator for around 1 full hour before I can even talk to anyone? I would like to hear from you with a plan of how you're going to help to resolve my predicament. If you are wise, you will look at your entire process, because if I am having an experience this bad, you can be certain that I am not alone. You will certainly suffer a loss in market share if you don't change your direction. Jumping down to the comment section on this one, we have one from a user called Winnie the Shit. It says, my family went through a similar scenario with their Samsung range. It took them 6 months to finally get the right part and the right person to install it. So they were without an oven from July till almost February. Imagine not being able to use your oven for Thanksgiving or Christmas. I think the Karen is Samsung, who makes crappy appliances and keeps the parts in South Korea. Another commenter down below called Mutts and Husky says, I mean, that's not really Karen. I'd be pissed too. To be frank, the customer service teams are not given the tools to help customers in this situation, and that really sucks. Still, it's the executive leadership at that company that's made the decisions that put those poor care reps in this situation. This should have been replaced within 2 weeks. Alright, so going through the comments on this one, it is overwhelmingly said that OP's stepdad is not a Karen and that they were just dealing with a company that really wasn't helping them. After reading a bunch of these comments, OP added an edit to the post. It says, edit, don't get me wrong, the situation he went through sucked, and the company handled it poorly. I posted this because of how he handled it, emailing the CEO, giving him a play-by-play, and expecting a response, which he never got. He is a let me speak to a manager at a mild inconvenience person. This just seemed excessive to me, but I understand everyone thinks this isn't a Karen moment, and that's okay. F Samsung and AHS. So I just realized something, and I want to make sure that everybody knows this, but this post was on Facebook 4 years ago. It's 2024 right now. 4 years ago was 2020. What was happening in the world in 2020? What happened to our supply chain for basically everything in the world in 2020? it all went to crap. So, maybe OP's stepdad was being a bit of a Karen here because they didn't give them any leeway for the supply chain issues when they were completely out of their hands. This is a perfect story for you guys to chime in on, so if you're listening on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment down below and tell me what you think about this story, because I have a feeling it's gonna be a bit polarizing. If you enjoy daily Reddit stories, I encourage you to follow and add us to your favorites on whichever podcasting platform you enjoy the most. And if you're listening on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the video. It really helps us out. I thank you for watching and listening. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.